Hello.
Look at this. I have the microphone in the correct position at the beginning of the show. Look
I'm
at us.
shocked by that. We're actually prepared.
So professional.
We, as in you, are actually prepared.
You just show up with
I
your
just do.
cute curly hair with
I just
your
show
little
up.
purple highlights.
Yeah, I was inspired by our new friend Sarah that was at the List Perfectly camp thing, who is coming, boss actually. It's
Sarah
Boink.
Boykin.
Sarah Boykin. It's Boink. She has this fantastic curly hair. It's beautiful. Of course, mine is not that, but I've been trying off and on to embrace these crazy curls over the last few years, but I don't know. I just don't have cute curls, and I certainly do not have the time or the energy that it takes to make the effort to do like the hand curl and pretty, and I can't be bothered. Anyway,
Liz, what?
What?
She's
Liz?
here at the beginning. What's happening?
Liz is here in a show? I don't know. Usually,
I thought about Liz last night when we went by. Isn't Dillard's there's a Dillard's at the, where were we at? The Win?
There's a Dillard's at the Win.
Where did I see a Dillard's? I saw a
Not
Dillard's
at the
somewhere.
Win.
The shopping area. I swear I saw a Dillard's.
There's several
Okay.
in town.
I know, but like yesterday, maybe I'm going
Maybe we
crazy.
drove past.
It's not like an outlet. It's like just a regular old Dillard's.
I know, but it's not going to be at the Win. Trust me. It's a mediocre department store.
I know,
and
I guess I'm going crazy. I don't know, guys. I still thought of Liz, whether I was mistaken or not. Okay. Anyway, so it's our Sunday show, as you see in the title and the slight title change. We're trying out something new.
What is our title? Oh, Sunday Live. Oh, you changed it. I didn't even know the title was changed. See, this is how much I pay attention.
It's true. It's all right. Well, I mean, whatever. We can change it back if we need to, if we decide to. But as we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, we're making some changes. Vikki just hired somebody new, so she's upping the volume, which means we need to go sourcing more, which I really need to anyway. And with the month of July not traveling, we're actually able to kind of focus on making those changes, which, let me tell you, we'll get into more later, but it is a bit overwhelming, I think, especially for you.
Take a breath. That was one big long run on the sentence without a breath there. I was like, ooh, breathe.
I was breathing just fine. And so now we're trying to do 3 bins visits a week, which is a lot.
It is. It is a lot. But that does mean that we are going to be able to do a little bit more content in the form of haul videos, like we have been doing the past few weeks. Actually, it's been a couple months. I think we've been doing them now, but not every single week. So instead of our 90-minute plus Sunday show that we generally do, what we're going to do going forward is eliminate the haul portion, because we're going to be doing it throughout the week.
Yeah, we won't necessarily do it for like every time we go to the bins. We might, but my goal is to try and do at least 2 a week, like have 2 be kind of the standard. But what we found when we were trying to juggle this show and doing those pre-recorded videos is it's like, first of all, we're already drowning in inventory that we're constantly in the middle of processing and trying to like figure out, okay, this pile is going to be for the pre-recorded, this pile is going to be for the Sunday show. And we realized we could just kind of shift what we're doing on our Sunday show, make it a little bit shorter. Sorry, guys. But it also means that we're going to be able to bring you more midweek content. And I feel like, I know for me, when I'm doing my haul during the pre-record stuff, I can take a little bit more time to like get more into depth of like what I picked up, why I picked it up. Because we're not trying to do like this live interactive kind of thing. So I'm hoping that the people, I mean, we've been getting really good feedback.
Lots of comments on the haul videos. And let's face it, everybody likes the haul videos in general. Not necessarily just us, but when people do haul videos in general, those are some of the most popular videos on YouTube. Not that we ever do this for the money. Obviously, you guys know that. We have a very small channel. We haven't grown focus in 3 years. It is what it is. But you guys are loyal viewers, and we know that we get a lot of interaction with our loyal viewers on the haul videos and on the haul portion when we do this on our Sunday show. So as you know, we don't like to do a lot of editing, which means Katy doesn't like to do a lot of editing because I don't do any of the editing. I don't even know how. And haul videos are a lot easier for us to do, just kind of like cutting. So we're going to do 1 to 2 haul videos during the week, and those tend to be 20 to 30 minutes max. And we're going to do this show, which is going to be our sales numbers, our sales highlights of things that we've sold, and any kind of like relative information throughout the week that we might want to share with you about platforms or about upcoming events. Hashtag Reseller remix or anything like that. So, we used to, you guys all know, we used to start out doing three shows years ago.
Yeah.
And 3 live shows a week was exhausting. And it was also live format, again, because Katy doesn't like to edit, and we're just never going to be those polished YouTubers that spend all this time creating content. Good for them, but it's nearly impossible to be a good seller and also be a content creator. It's one of the two. And content creation does not pay me, selling does. So I got to put a roof over this head and that head.
Look at, well, I mean, I think I also helped you. Look at, it's Diane in the chat. Hi, kids. Time for a change. Everyone needs to be a dirty Diane. It's true. Hi, Diane.
Hi,
miss
Diane.
You.
I was super jelly of all these pictures. It was Trish's birthday yesterday, by the way. Trish was one of our closest and dearest friends, and they had a pool party at Diane's house, and I was like, I like a pool. I like Trish and Diane.
It's true. Me too.
I like Diane's family. Damn it, why was I not at this pool party? Because I'm 3,000 miles away.
Yep, it's pretty much true. Also, it just makes sense as far as like the way we're changing, like how we structure everything. Is that during the week you see all the stuff that we pick up and what we can talk more about, like why we picked it up, give you some more information about the items we're picking up. And then it's kind of like Sunday is where we check in and we can say, okay, look, this is how we did this last week. Here's our numbers, however they might be. Here's the stuff that we sold. But also another element we want to put into it is kind of talking about like, okay, that's what last week was. What do we want to happen this next week? And, we get a lot of people posting things like in the Boss Facebook group about wanting like help with accountability or time management. And, I think we're relatively good with like our flow, but I do think that sometimes we kind of get like caught up in all the stuff going on in our lives.
Oh, and we could definitely be better at it. There's no question.
So we're going to talk about like kind of what our goals are for this next week, as far as like what we want to accomplish, whether, and we'll get more into that later after we go through the regular part of our show. And then we also want to encourage you guys when we get to that portion to set your goals or kind of like what you're hoping to accomplish this next week. And you can do that in the chat while we're here. You can also do that for those of you who watch this a year ago. Go ahead and put it in the comments below. Or if you don't necessarily want to share it, maybe write down along with us, write down something that you want to accomplish this next week. And then when we do our show next Sunday, we'll kind of check in with ourselves and with you guys, and we can see if we can make this show interactive in that way, where we're all kind of like holding each other accountable, celebrating each other's accomplishments and where we have been able to meet our goals, and also maybe do a little old-fashioned yelling at each other when we mess up. So if you don't accomplish your goals,
you're going to yell at me?
I'll berate you. And then when I don't accomplish my
involved, I need to prepare my butt for this.
I
have very tender, light skin. I don't know if I can handle the belt. It's been many, many decades since I've had a belt on this robust tush. So, I'm going to have to prepare myself. Honestly, the accountability thing is important, so, when we used to do in the boss group, Katy used to do a 2 or 2 thread daily. And for the first couple of years that she was doing it, it was basically about reworking 2 old listings or a minimum of 2 listings. And it was sort of a daily accountability thread. But I do think that it definitely waned in participation. So Katy just stopped doing it like 6 months ago. Because there was, the same 1 or 2 people that would contribute to the content. So I get it. People change. We had to mix shit up.
Yeah.
So, we've been doing the same thing for quite a while, and we're going to mix it up a little bit for both us and for you guys, because we've actually been changing how we do our businesses in general. So we talked about it a little bit. So as far as how we source and how many things a week we list and all that kind of stuff. So this is going to kind of be our accountability thread too. So I know that we've definitely been off track this last year. This entire last 7 or 8 months, we've been really off track between the wedding and all the traveling that we've done, and now we're in the midst of planning the Boss Reseller Remix. Our businesses have not gotten the attention that they definitely need, and our numbers show it for both of us. We know that business is down in general. I think that's across the board for almost everyone. It depends on what you sell. There are always people that are going to thrive. I think if you're selling auto parts, you are kicking ass right now. However, a lot of clothing sellers or vintage sellers are definitely down. The market has shifted. So we got to do what we got to do, guys, to mix things up, to start selling again. Because I'm definitely down a lot. So
yeah, so we're making changes with the channel, we're making changes with our businesses, and this is just us doing it like with you guys and showing you how we go along the way. And I do want to give a little shout out to Theresa because she happened to mention we were just talking about some stuff, and she was like, "Oh, you should think about like switching up how you do your Sunday show." And we were already kind of in the process of adding the pre-recorded stuff. I kind of got the kick in the butt when we went on our cruise, and I was doing the daily vlogs, and I was kind of like, hey, I'm kind of liking this again because I had been really sick of doing pre-recorded. And then when she said that, it kind of clicked, the switch flipped with how much I've been struggling the last couple of weeks with trying to balance the pre-recorded and the Sunday live to go, oh, we could totally change it up. Mm-hmm. So thanks to Theresa. We do listen sometimes. Okay, so let's get into the show. We do it in 3 parts, and there's going to be 3 parts. There's going to be a different 3 parts. First part of our show, we look at our numbers for the last week. We look at our gross revenue across all of our platforms, and we break down things like the fees, the shipping, and then most importantly, in my opinion, I think Vicki's as well, the cost of goods. And then,
because the fees are pretty much the same. We've talked about this before, but pretty much fees are the same for everyone across every platform. Everyone knows what the fees are. The only things that will be different are your cost of goods. So that kind of shows you a real picture of net profits. And of course, different people pay different trending rates as far as listings and all that kind of stuff. So that definitely cuts into the profits as well as me paying someone to do list for me and do cross posting for me. So when you see our net numbers, those are not the net, but it's a net enough that you can compare apples to apples, because usually people run their businesses apples to oranges. So the apples to apples portion, we clear for you to compare.
Very cool. And so then the middle part of our show, as always, is us looking at our sales highlights for the last week, some of the stuff that we've sold. It's not pretty for us, but still some interesting things. And then the third part is going to be us kind of getting into like what our goals are, what we accomplished last week. This is our first week doing this, so we won't necessarily go as much into that. Well, we will go a little bit. And giving you guys the opportunity to set your goals in the chat. And also, if you want, you can ask us questions. Like if there's something like in the process of you guys trying to hit whatever numbers you're trying to hit or accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, if you run into roadblocks or you have questions, we've been around, we've been doing this for a while. And we would love to be able to like answer any questions you guys have, any help you might have, so that this next week, maybe you won't have those same struggles. You might still have some different ones. But hopefully we can help you to kind of move past any issues you might be having. So that's kind of what we're playing around with this. We're going to see how it goes. We also love to get some feedback from you guys about how you feel about it. I know change is hard, Tommy. I know.
Tommy, did you take your Xanax before the show? I believe someone said they stole your Xanax, but we'll see. I did want to answer one quick question there. Tommy asked, what are the dirty Dianes? Before we get into all of that, or instead of getting into all that again, which we've got to get the show moving, but go back and see the video where Katy shaved her head. The Dirty Dianes is sort of a clique, a gang of people that have either shaved their head or donated a certain amount to Diane Lassonde and the charity that she has set up to help the Blind Center going forward.
We're a gang, not a clique. Okay, there's a difference.
It's a gang.
Yeah, you can either shave your head to get a hat, or you can donate $250 or more to the Fearless Living Fighters. It says down below if you want to be in the gang. Like, we're not cheerleaders, whatever. We're not goths. We're a freaking gang, Dirty Dianes. All right, let's get into the show, guys. Let me go ahead and share the screen here. We're going to look at my numbers first. I'm really hoping, I feel like both of us have made some big changes over the last couple of weeks. I know I'm listening more. I know that you are doing definitely more volume. But it kind of, like, you're literally on like the second week of your new employee that's going to
third week, but yeah.
But as far as like you actually listing the stuff that she's taking the pictures of and stuff. So we're hoping that these numbers that you're seeing, the dismal ones, the mediocre ones compared to what we've been able to do in the past, we're hoping that we're going to see these climb.
Yeah, I mean, you have to spend money to make money, and that's true in any sense of business, whether it's an acquiring good product to sell, and sometimes that's an acquiring help and spending money to increase your volume of items that you have available to list, your inventory, and sometimes it's paying someone. And very often when you reach out and hire a VA or an in-person assistant or someone that takes pictures or anybody that was working for you or with you, you're going to see yourself spending money for the first couple of months that you're not going to see a return on yet.
Mhm.
And right now, with sales being as low as they are, don't get me wrong, that's painful.
Very
It's painful for me to be spending an extra $400 a week paying other people to do things for me. When I was making $4,000 a week, $400 made sense. When I'm making $2,000 a week, $400 is painful. So it's,
You guys are along the ride with us.
That's it. We got to see how it goes.
Yep. So, okay, let's look at these numbers. Man, my eBay is just, it is hurting.
It is on life support.
It really is. 14 eBay orders, 7 Etsy, only 5 between Grailed, Mercari, and Depop. I do feel like I am upping we're literally going into the second week of okay, we're going to be sourcing 3 days a week. I feel like I'm going to get there. I just started like doing some serious listing the last few days, especially. But 26 outgoing orders, ouch. $743.61 on eBay, $434.43 on Etsy, $372 between Grail, Mercari, and Depop. Total gross sales, $1,550.04 for poor little me. Also with my eBay, guys, I made the very, very uncomfortable and sad decision to switch over. This is because of Vikki, to switch over to trending rates on my promotions, my promoted listings.
It's because of Liz, because Liz,
it's a lot of Liz. I hate you. Because here's the thing, I went to my promotions, and the last 30 days, a 50% drop in views and impressions, 50%, guys, in 30 days. And I'm like, fine, let's see. Let's play the freaking game, man.
eBay is a pay-to-play platform right now. If you are not paying to play, you are not making sales.
Yeah.
It is what it is. There will be people that are going to chime in on this and say, I don't ever use promoted listings. I still make money. You know what? You're not making as much money as you could be if you were using promoted listings. Period. It is what it is. It sucks. It's extortionist at this point. I'm not going to lie. It is what it is. The ad rate revenue on eBay is out of fucking control. It's out of control. That you have to pay anywhere from 8 to 15% promoted listing fees in order to have your shit seen.
Yeah.
I sell individual vintage items that I don't even have any competition for, but my stuff is buried so far in search. If I'm not paying to promote, nobody's going to see it and nobody's going to buy it. Now, the good thing about that is that my profit margins are so high and that I'm paying $2 for an item and selling it for $100 that I obviously have plenty of wiggle room in there. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Doesn't mean I'm happy about putting more money in eBay's pocket instead of my own. However, it is what it is. Again, we have to change.
Yeah.
People will complain about Poshmark taking 20%. eBay takes far more than 20%. Poshmark takes 20% on your sale price. You don't pay for shipping. They don't take 20% on taxes or the shipping or the overall order. You are not paying promoted listing fees, and you are not paying to have a store there. So I'm going to tell you right now, you need to compare your numbers, hard numbers to hard numbers. If you sell on both eBay and Poshmark, you are paying more on eBay even if you aren't using promoted listings.
This week's Vikki rant, brought to you by eBay promoted listings. Thank you. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I will say it helps a lot that I am sourcing from the bins almost exclusively now, because I sell something that I paid $1 for. I sell it, and it's like, you want to make sure if you're doing those promoted listings, you want to look at every single sale that you get. Look at the breakdown, because eBay will give you the breakdown for that one item. It'll tell you how much the sales tax was, how much the regular fees were, how much your fees were because of promoted listings. And and it'll tell you at the bottom, it'll tell you how much you actually earned from that item. Mm-hmm. You need to be paying attention to that, because you just need to be following that and making sure that you're at least profiting on that item once you go, do your shipping and all the time you put into it.
I paid 17% in promoted listing fees on the item the other day. 17%. Ugh. I do dynamic. Liz caps hers at 12. I didn't cap mine. I've only been doing it for less than a week. I'm probably going to go in and cap it, because that 17% is ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's crazy.
We're dropping some F-bombs today.
I am. It's not like we make money. I don't care if we're not monetized.
So you can, I care. Come on. You can see the breakdown of fees there. My shipping costs are at least lower because I'm not selling anything. My cost of goods low because I'm doing a lot of bins. But my net total sales just under 1,200. Now, another thing I'm going to have to adjust is have my goals for my gross average sale price. I used to say my goal is to hit 70 and above. That's not realistic. Now that I'm doing a lot more bin sourcing and I'm having lower price sales, it's more about bringing up my volume a little bit. So I think my new adjusted goal is 50 and above. So I would like to be able to stay above 50. And here I'm at 59.62. I'm sure I can still hit those higher numbers occasionally, but not with how I'm sourcing and selling at the moment. And my net average sale price is 46.01. All right, next up to you. What you got going on here?
So here, I just want to answer one question in the chat here. Are you still running sales? Yes, both of us still run sales all the time. We're both continually running a sale. We stop them weekly and then restart them because you need to have. Well, it used to be that you needed to have an end date and a restart date because eBay prioritize ending soon on your listing or newly listed with a sale or newly resale or something like that. They no longer do that on your listings. It doesn't have ending soon. You can't find it. So I don't know that there's a benefit for that anymore.
Right.
They keep taking away shit that works and adding shit that nobody cares about. It is what it is. I have no real love for that platform any longer. And those of you that follow us and know me well, I've been selling on eBay for more than 25 years. It is still my highest sales platform, but it is a shitty sales platform as far as I'm concerned now. I do not make anywhere near the money I used to make on it. And we're talking just 18 months ago. How everything has absolutely drastically changed on the platform.
All of our love for eBay is now
the community and the people
is now reserved for the people who work for eBay that we are that we know, and there are some great people there. They are very involved in the community. It's just really frustrating when these changes are made that don't seem to help in any way. Anyway, go ahead. Tell us about your numbers.
So I had 26 orders on eBay, 5 on Etsy. Etsy is on life support for me this year. I don't really understand why. I'm down about 40% on Etsy, but I'm up 30% on Poshmark. I cross post all of my items. So for me to be down on one platform, but yet up on another, it just means it's not the items necessarily. So 13 Poshmark, 3 on Mercari for a total of 47, 1308 on eBay. That's lovely. 184 on Etsy. 415 on Poshmark, 110 on Mercari for a total of just over $2,000 for the week. That's about a third of what it should be. 197 in shipping, and then you see my breakdown of fees. Cost of goods are always relatively low. I'm paying an average of $2 per item on most of my items. So my net is just over $1,400. My gross average sale price, I do like to have between 50 and 60. It is lower now because with sales being as poor as they are, I am absolutely accepting lower offers to sell stuff. So yeah.
All right, that's it.
That's it.
All right. So I mean, with starting this new format, we're starting from this point, so it's not bad because it means the only way is up, hopefully.
I mean, it can't be any worse. Any worse, and I'm going to need to get a 9-to-5 job because this is not sustainable. That healthy nest egg that we built over the last couple of years of incredible sales, that healthy nest egg is a mediocre, tiny quail egg or something at this point.
Oh, but quail eggs are a delicacy.
Yeah, but they're tiny.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into our sales highlights. Why don't we start with this fancy looking thing?
So this is just a fun sweater dress. You can tell how old it is based on the fact that it doesn't have the background remover. So I've had this for quite a while, and it's a fantastic sweater dress. I freaking love it. And I don't know if I probably should change the picture out at some point to show it better. But the reality is that I don't know why it took so long to sell because I think it is so cool. And the fact that I'm selling a long sleeved heavy knit sweater dress in the middle of the summer when nothing else is selling is weird to me. But it finally sold. I think I probably have $3 or $4 invested in it, and it sold for $80 plus shipping. It's just a fantastic color block for these sweaters.
So I've got a lot of sales that I'm showing from Bins Buys. Oh, I didn't move this down. So this is my first one. I did not sell it for the price you see there, but if you remember, I picked this up at the Bins. I'm branching out from the t-shirts and sweatshirts. If I was only doing that, I'd have a real hard time finding enough stuff to sell from the Bins. So I'm going back to doing some more hats, some more pants, stuff like that. And this is the hat that I went to a bin in front of Vikki. She yelled at me. She verbally assaulted me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Because she had eyeballed this, but she wasn't even at the bin yet, guys. So
listen, guys, I'm not even just competing with the Bins bros in the morning now. Now I'm competing with the wife who never used to like to go to the Bins with me.
Well, it's funny because this is what's funny about the Bins. You go there and there's anywhere, I don't know, how many people would you say are in there when it's busy?
75
people there, right? There's a lot of people who were in there. So it's just funny to me that, like, it's not like Vicky goes to this hole in the wall that nobody else is at and finds all this great stuff, and suddenly I want to come along with her. It's like she's competing with a lot of people, but somehow me being added to the mix changes everything.
Because the things that you buy are also the things that I buy that nobody else wants at the bins for the most part.
Somewhat, but I do give you a lot of the stuff. Like, I'm never going to take blankets from you. I did grab a couple blankets while you were gone, but I do not want to start doing blankets.
Oh no, I'll punch you.
Unless it's like specific
I will
to.
punch you. Lori says desperate times call for desperate measures, Vicky. It's true. It's true. So, I have to share my sources with Katy. I did see that somebody went to the bins this week at some point with Carrie, I think. I can't do the middle of the day bins things. We have to be there right when it opens. I'm not going to lie.
But the reality is, would you rather me not go to the bins at all or join you the 3 days a week you're going to be doing it, and a couple of times that I grab?
No, I like that you come.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You like that
I'm used to going alone.
Yeah, so now you got me. So anyway, I bought this hat, maybe paid $1 for it. Somebody sent an offer for $30, and I was like, you know what? This is what you do. I freaking paid $1, man. I'm gonna get it out of here so I can move on to the next thing, put some money in. But it's flat. I like it. It's bright pink. All right.
So you can clearly tell I took this photo because my photos are terrible. But this is a bins find. This is a bins find that I only paid about $7 or $8 for. They're very lightweight. These backpacks weigh about 4 pounds. They're hollow aluminum framed backpacks. They are made for hiking. I sell them every time. And what I'm going to say is that there are lots of people that don't pick them up, and there are also lots of people that price them very low. Of course, if you price it low, it's going to sell faster. But I sell them for $85 to $125 every day of the week, and they don't last long.
You didn't have this for that long.
No, I had it listed for just a couple of weeks. It did cost $15 to ship. Thankfully, it went right to California because I did put free shipping. So I had to ship it UPS.
And how do you ship something like this?
You wrap it in a contractor's bag, take it up, and ship it. Wrap it up and ship it. Dropped it off at UPS, and that's it. Black contractors, lawn bag. That's what I use for things like this. So I've been talking about these for years, but if you farm them, pick them up. They're almost all made by a company called Kelty. There are other brands that make them, but Kelty is the most popular one. They made them all the way through. I don't even know if they may still make them, but the vintage ones tend to sell really well. They're usually this color, green, blue, or red. I've never seen them in any other color, but they sell well.
Very nice. All right. Guys,
I know. I just thought Liz is like, woohoo, an offer. It's probably for $5
Check
and
it out.
a $75 item.
Tell us what your offer is.
Oh, wait. It's a $40 offer on a $96 item. So, yeah, that's going to be a hard fucking no.
All right. How about we do a moratorium on F-bombs? You hit 3 now, so stop. Okay. Tommy Bahama. This is, if you guys remember, this is the first one I picked up. This was like maybe a month ago, and then the following week I picked up another one. The other one I was sold for $75 because it was like a special edition 25-year anniversary shirt. This I sold for the price you see there, $34.99. I'm pretty stoked that my Tommy Bahamas didn't sit around forever. It's not like a huge seller, but it's $35, and I paid maybe $1 for it, probably not even $1. So yeah, is it exciting? No, but if it's really good bread and butter, you're going to be able to flip it, then I'm happy to pick it up. And it's not really something that like the t-shirt pros are grabbing. And so it's always good to have. Angel says, don't pass up Anchor Blue.
It's true. It's true.
Anyway, I was happy to have this Tommy out. All right.
So we see a couple of things there. Moral of the story is to look things up. That is true. If you are selling a brand that is comparable, definitely look it up. Because Katy and I sell mostly vintage items, unfortunately, there really are no comps to look up. And we've talked about this many times, but there are no comps. So I make up prices in my own head based on what I think things are worth, and that's generally right on the money. And sometimes I'll sit on things and I'll think something's fantastic and nobody else does, and I'll have it for a year and I'm pissed. But you know what? Eventually it sells. Everything sells eventually.
Well, and sometimes reselling is weird. Like one of the things I'm going to show you that I sold once I looked at the comps, I was pretty bummed about it, and it went fast. So why don't you tell us about this?
So this is something I picked up at the bins. I think I got this at the bins in Colorado, but I don't think I got it here. So it's this bright sunshiny yellow dress, but it's vintage Diane von Furstenberg. Now, mostly people think of Diane von Furstenberg for her iconic wrap dresses. Now, the early wrap dresses sell the best, especially the ones from the 70s and early 80s, bright patterns. They're these wrap dresses. They're beautiful. However, all Diane von Furstenberg stuff sells eventually, and this is one of those items. So I paid maybe $1 for it. It's probably 7 or 8 ounces, and it sold for the price you see there, $96. It's a pretty dress. It's a bright color. It's just a very basic classic style, and quality never goes out of style.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up for me, I know like I've been picking up some Nautica stuff, and I was thinking to myself, if I'm making a mistake, like why am I picking this up? And I've also been picking up polo shirts. This is like the second straight polo shirt I've sold in the last couple of weeks. And this is the Nautica one. I sold it for the price you see there, $48.99. So again, paid $1 for it. It sold within, I mean, I bought it, I listed it within the last month. So it was not listed for all that long. Now, would I pick up a just plain Nautica polo shirt? Probably not. I really picked it up because of the really cool stripes.
It's kind of like a vintage rugby stripe.
Yeah, it's so I am going to be like somewhat selective. Like I'm still going to pick up like a Polo Ralph Lauren shirt if it says made in the USA and it's plain, but the striped ones apparently I should be picking up. So $48.99, and I only paid $1 for it, so I'm happy with that.
You know what? Lori says that she sent me the dress, and that's possible. I do buy from viewers, and Lori is one of the people that I bought from before. Actually, both Lori's in the chat I bought from before. And that may have been one that I bought from you. If so, then I probably paid $4, which is what I usually pay, $3 to $4 per item plus shipping. So I probably paid $4 to $5 and not $8. So if that's the case, so I tend to forget unless it's been very recent where things come from. Anyway, so this doll, this creepy, ugly doll, I have had for going on 3 years now. I had a whole bunch of dolls that I purchased at an estate sale. I paid 50 cents to $1 maybe for the items. I really filled out 2 entire truckfuls of clothing and dolls and toys. I've sold almost all of it. I do still have 2 big totes or 3 big totes that I need to get through and actually list and sell. They're the only things I would consider my death pile. They've been hiding for years. I haven't touched them in 2 years. And no, I'm not getting rid of them because I know there's money in it, but it takes. Anyway, this doll, creepy as she may be, ugly as she may be, still sold for the price. It sold for $85. There was an offer accepted, $85 plus shipping, and I have 50 cents to $1 in her because I have the room to store stuff. Some of this stuff is going to sit for a while. But what I will say is that I had gone in and changed my business policies for whatever reason. This doll had some kind of weird shipping policy on it that came out of nowhere because I didn't create it. And the shipping was looking like $50 on this. Obviously, that's not what it costs. So once I was able to put it into my priority shipping that I charge $8.55 is my flat rate shipping fee. Sometimes I lose a little, sometimes I make a little. It's sold that same day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So whatever that did, either someone was watching it or it refreshed the listing enough that someone saw it for the first time and had to have it. So make sure that you go and stuff like that. So
very good, very good. All right, next up, guys, look what I sold. I sold this Polygamy Porter t-shirt. Now, if you remember, I think last week I showed it in the haul. I'm pretty sure because it was when Deb was here. So this is one that Vicky grabbed and threw to me because she didn't really care about it. She goes, I buy like the beer shirts and stuff like that. And this is definitely like super faded. It's funny. It says I tried polygamy. It says, what does it say? Why have just one? Bring some home to the wives. Okay, it's pretty faded. You can see the collar; it's all chewed up around it. This is the one I was talking about. You're talking about looking up comps. I'm not going to look up a comp for this at the bins because it's just pointless. But I did look it up just to see like what else was out there, and there are a lot of these listed on eBay, you guys, a lot, and there are plenty of them. They're like $14, $20. They're probably in better condition, and I was kind of like, oh. This is going to take a while to sell. It sold the next day on Etsy for $32.39. Now, is that like a huge win? No, but it just goes to show you that who knows? Maybe there aren't any other ones listed on Etsy. I don't know.
Or people are looking for like newly listed items, or newly listed items are weighted more heavily. Etsy is one of those platforms nobody really knows how their algorithms work, if they have an algorithm of any kind. because you don't need listings don't go dead there. You don't have to refresh listings there. They definitely are the only list and forget platform. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, Lori is correct. Jen asked about how to identify Nautica. The lowercase lettering is vintage, generally current. Okay, next up for you.
I think I showed this in a haul video. This was a bins find, and it's not very heavy, even though it's a wool blanket. But I paid probably $5 or $6 for it. I knew it was military. I was able to date it to being somewhere in World War II or Korean War era. But it's just an embroidered U.S. Marine Corps gross, scratchy wool military blanket. The one thing that was different is it did have the officer's name on it. I did try to do a deep dive on the name. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find anything. There were far too many, and who knows where this originally came from as far as what state it came from. But it sold for within a couple of weeks. And mind you, if you look up USMC blanket on eBay and you look at what they're listed for and you look at what they're sold for, this is one of the highest prices with a tear in it. And again, one of those, I don't exactly know why, but it sold fairly quickly. So I'm happy with that.
I would like to point out that I found this at the bins and I gave it to you. So you did not lose this blanket with my presence.
All right.
But I also remember that you were like, yeah, I don't really know if it's going to sell for much. So I think it's awesome that it flipped so quickly and
yeah, it did.
Some money on it.
It did. And it's shipped to California. It actually went to Fort
Pendleton?
No, one of the bases in California.
All right.
So maybe they knew the officer. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, very cool. All right, next up is this Arizona State shirt. Now, sometimes I sell something and I'm like, wait a second, why did I have this price so high? I don't know. It's funny because they show like the prices over here. I feel like it's always wonky. This actually, it's showing the on sale price. This actually was not on sale because I had forgotten to start a new sale on Etsy, and so it's showing you the wrong price. I actually sold this for $99.99. When it sold, I was like, wait, it sold for $100? Like, why did I even price it so stinking high? I don't know, but apparently somebody was willing to pay that for it because I sold it for $100, not $89.99. Sold for $99.99. Maybe I paid $10 for it.
I love those 80s and 90s sweatshirts, though. Russell Athletic, the Champion ones, Bum Equipment. They're made of a nice, thick, heavy quality sweatshirt material as opposed to the stuff you buy now, which feels like garbage.
Yeah, for sure. All right, now you got a whole bunch because you did.
Yeah, so this is a bundle that I sold. I don't know how you get back to that listing because it showed the bundle. Okay.
All separate.
All right, thanks. So this is a bundle that I sold on Poshmark. Can you go back to the first one?
Yes.
So I don't often sell bundles because I sell so many different things. But every once in a while, somebody comes through and they do a decent bundle. And because I have so little invested in each individual item, I usually give a hefty discount because I don't run sales on Poshmark either. So the entire bundle they paid $200 for, not what you see there. But so there's this blouse, this dress, this teapot.
It's such a weird bundle too.
I know. This blouse, this t-shirt, and a rug.
Yeah.
So they sold for $200 altogether. And basically the rug was the only thing. I had paid $20 for the rug. I bought these to resell. I have several of them. I've sold all except one. So I paid $20 to resell these. So that's the one I paid the most for. Everything else was $2 to $3 a piece.
Yeah.
So 6 items, let's call it $3, 18, and then another 20. So 5 items, so 15 over 20, $35 into it, sold it for $200. It's a really weird bundle, right? It's kind of
and then she packed it up, but she had to like fold up the rug and then put in the clothing and then kind of pack in the breakable in there. Anyway, all right, last item is I got another Depop sale, you guys. I'm like 4 sales in now. I'm up to like over 1,200 listings on there. I will say with this perfectly, it's super fast. And once I like gave up trying to fill in all the item specifics, I'm like with Depop, people look at it, it's literally they just look at the pictures and then they
There's
go
no
in.
title. It's just the picture. So why?
So I'm not going to. Yeah. So it's super. It's actually probably the fastest for me, the fastest platform to cross post to, and so I'm up to over 1,200 listings. And this actually sold. Somebody made an offer for $54. And I had this shirt. I've had the shirt for a while. I have sent so many offers on eBay for $40 for the shirt. So selling it for 54, I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. Let's get it out of here.
It was an offer and they paid for it.
Yeah, they made the offer. I accepted and it paid right away. I think I'm about 50-50 for being paid. But honestly, it doesn't bother me on Depop because the only reason it bothers me so much on eBay is that your listing gets taken down.
Right.
And it's like, and that makes me so irritated. I'm like, whatever, I'll accept an offer. If they pay, whatever. As long as the listing gets to hang out and somebody else can buy it, fine. Who cares?
Yeah, it just it's there. It doesn't do anything else. So
yeah. All right. So that is our mediocre sales highlights for the week, guys.
I know, sorry. Sales highlights, the sales numbers. I feel like we've been such a disappointment these last several months.
You're sorry that we've disappointed all of you.
We're sorry that we are shit sellers now.
We promise. Yeah, Vicky's pretty much just given up, you know. She's just gonna like us every 5 seconds and give up on everything.
I don't know. I feel like it's really hard to be a teacher or an educator in a field where I don't feel like I'm doing my best right now. As far as selling, and it's really hard. Like I know what I'm doing, and I obviously can teach people, but I do feel like it's more difficult when my numbers don't back up my knowledge. I was feeling pretty good about being an educator when I'm making $16,000 a month in sales. And now that, we're making 8,000 a month in sales or less,
But personally, I think you're looking at it wrong. I think that first and foremost, I see us as leaders in the community, and it's something like that, it's not a community. And there's more to it than just those sales numbers. And I think it does matter for us to be transparent and talk about like the struggles that we're going through and why we're going through them. And I think that it helps people to see that we deal with that as well. And I also think that, now we're looking at switching things up and moving. It's like that is the reality of reselling, especially right now. But I think it's always been that way throughout the time when people who started selling on eBay in the 90s, they've had to, successful ones who are still doing it, have had to completely change how they do business multiple times over the last 20 plus years. The only ones who have survived are the ones that have successfully pivoted and successfully adapted to changes. And we are just in a really weird, painful spot right now where we're having to make a lot of changes. And it's frustrating, especially when there's things that are out of your control, like a platform makes major changes. Now you have no choice but to adapt to what they want you to do.
Well, I'm not going through struggles. I am a struggle. You're funny. No, but it's true. It's, the key to this business is always being able to change and pivot accordingly. And that doesn't mean that changes are not painful. I think we all dislike change. I think it's human nature to dislike change in general. So we've gone through a lot of changes as sellers, as people, everybody changes, right? So, and this is just yet another change. The platforms are painful. It is what it is. We only can control what we can control. So therefore, we are doing our best to adapt with the platform differences and changes and the selling patterns. And like someone had said there, if you started out on eBay 20 plus years ago, like I did, or like Liz did, or like some of the other people did, and we were selling baby clothes, or we were selling, grandma's china and teacups and things like that, that crap doesn't sell. That's not where you're going to make your money anymore. So, when we started that type of thing, it was like, oh, this is extra pocket money. But then when it became a career, you had to really, a full-time job, or if you're, bringing in a significant amount of income to help support your household or to solely support your household, you've got to really learn to pick things up that are going to flip and sell fast. I'm still not somebody that's going to get into sports cards or video games or things like that. That's just, I can't deal with that. But I have absolutely expanded my repertoire of what I buy and why.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tommy asked, if I'm going to be able to find enough vintage at the bins and keep my average sale price or pivot to modern and vintage. Well, like I said earlier, I'm definitely lowering my average sale price because I have to. And ideally, I would much rather stick to paying up and only having what I consider really cool vintage pieces that I'm excited about every single piece. Like I love doing that, but I can't keep doing that. I do think I'm not so much expanding to non-vintage. I'm just expanding more. Like I'm doing more hats again. I'm doing more pants again. Doing more jackets again, and not just doing t-shirts and sweatshirts. But I would say like 90% of the stuff I'm picking up at the bins is still vintage. Like I'm picking up some stuff that's not. I'm sticking to mainly the menswear, streetwear part of it. But I am having to change how I do that. I don't think I'll have to. I'm not planning on going to more modern overall.
Unless you find a few things here and there that you would not have picked up before, like the Tommy Bahama or whatever.
Sure.
You're going to pick it up because it's inexpensive and it's that bread and butter type of stuff. So yeah, I'm looking here and I'm looking at, like, you guys are very active in the chat. So thank you for that. We have 111 people watching right now. That's one of our higher numbers on Sundays. Over 100 now. I mean, in the summer, our numbers dropped. Your lives. People are doing stuff in the summer.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you spending your afternoon and some time with us. But I do see that Adrienne said that she had somebody ask for the price match a vintage item with something they found on Temu. That would be a hell to the no. You go ahead and buy it on Temu, buddy. Go spend your $6.99 somewhere. But
so like I said, we were talking about at the beginning. What we want to pivot this show into is talking about this stuff and setting some goals for this next week. And we want you to do it with us. I just highlighted Liz's comment saying I need to list more. We all have a million things going on, especially during the summer. If we want our businesses to be successful, this is more than just a hobby to us, which is fine if it is a hobby for you. But for those of us who depend on this to be able to pay our bills and to keep moving forward, we have to prioritize things. And so for us, that's what we're doing with changing up how often we go to the bins and what we're doing. And so for this next week, why don't you go ahead and tell us like what's your goal just for this next week? What are you wanting to accomplish?
So my goal has been to be more consistent in my listing in general. Because we've been gone so much and traveling so much, I don't have a listing bank of drafts. So I very rarely am going to list while I'm gone. I also don't have a laptop, so I don't take my laptop with me the way I used to. Now I have a desktop. When my computer shit the bed 6 months ago, I went to a desktop. So I can only take my Chromebook with me, which I hate, which I find very ineffective for listings. So I take it and I barely crack it open when I'm out of town. However, so that's it. I will, I've been trying to, because I have a new person working for me and she's doing a great job. We're starting to learn each other, and she's starting to make some really good listings. Are they perfect? No, of course not. That's part of the thing that I learned from Trish Glenn, our friend Trish. It's the 80-20 rule. If 80% is good enough, then it's good enough. You've got to let go of the 20%. You've got to let go of the things that you can't control. And for me, it's difficult coming from having my Crystal, who is a unicorn, who is like an amazing lister and photographer, and I barely had to give her any direction or change anything, to having someone who's brand new, who does have some experience listing, but doesn't have any experience in vintage or how I want my photos or listings done. So all of this is a learning curve for both of us. And also very, very difficult for me to give direction.
She's been very receptive,
and she's been very receptive. And I've tried. I've gone into this in a different manner than I normally do when I have someone working with me. It's very much a business relationship, and I'm very. I give her feedback, and she's very reciprocative. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, she's open to the feedback and changes things accordingly. So it's a give and take of trying to learn how I want things and how she does things. The good thing is that she's not super experienced. Means she doesn't have bad habits. So I don't have to break any bad habits. I just have to teach her. So I'm getting there.
So what's the goal for this next week?
So the goal is to do, for me, because she's been able to keep up, I'm going to have to source at least 3 times this week, 2 to 3 times this week, to make sure that she gets 75 to 100 items a week, and it's all clothing for her. So that also means that I need to process all of those items, meaning I get to take them home,
that's hard.
Wash all of them, 75 to 100 items, and get them ready to give to her. Now, so I have to do that. Also, buying other things like shoes and hard goods while I'm sourcing. I have a heck of a pile right now that I have to get through. Everything's ready and prepped and cleaned. I have to do a huge amount of photography. Starting today, when we're done with the show, instead of me being done on a Sunday afternoon, I'm going to spend an hour or 2 taking some photos and then do some more tomorrow. I have 3 Zoom calls this week that I have to do, and I'm doing a podcast interview. So It's a busy
So
week. So
2 to
20,
3.
yeah. So I want to do 20 listings a day from my drafts from my employee, and I would like to do 10 listings a day from pure photos, start to finish, for my things.
Yeah, you're gonna do you're gonna do some photography today,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna be sourcing. So for me, my goals are, of course, I'm gonna be going and sourcing with Vikki as well. 2 to 3. I think we're gonna need to do 3 days, but let's say 2 to 3. Also getting up at least 2 sourcing / haul videos up for you guys, because if we're gonna be switching up the Sunday show, I want to follow through and do those videos for you. So there's gonna be at least 2 of those for this week. I also, with us going sourcing more, I'm just finishing up processing stuff for me to photograph, which I'll do in the next day or two. I probably have like 60 to 70 pieces. So
we're gonna have to fight over the photography area, I think.
No, we're not. I always give it to Vikki when she's and let her do her thing till she's done. But my goal is to list at least 50 new items this week. So it's definitely not going to be as much as Vikki, but I'm just going to start at that goal because I haven't been able to list as much as I wanted to in the past. But I hope I can do more than that. If I can bring in the stuff, then I'm going to be able to do more than that. I want to consistently list at least something, a few things every day, but do like 50 for the week. And I think those are like my main goals. But why don't you guys tell us in the chat what some of your goals are for the week? And please, in the comments below, if you're watching this after the fact, tell us what your goals are for the week. And then next week, you'll be able to report back what you were able to accomplish. Because this is basically, this is how you get stuff done. You have to be deliberate. You have to be mindful. You have to whether you're saying it to your peers or out into the universe, you have to make decisions. You have to decide, I am going to do this if I want to be successful. And then you have to actually follow through with that. So hopefully this is going to give you an opportunity to be like, okay, I said the Sunday show, I said in the chat, I said it in the comments, I'm going to make it happen and see how it goes. So
based on me wanting to do 20 to 30 listings a week, and that's set a day, and that's all 7 days. We generally take Saturdays off. However, I will take a couple of hours every Saturday to make sure I'm listing, because I do not want to miss a day listing. I want to get into the habit of listing every single day. So my goal this week is to do a minimum of 200 listings, 200 brand new listings.
That's a lot.
If I'm doing 75 to 100 listings from my employee, the rest are on me.
So you're going to do over 100. Okay. We'll see. I hope you do.
Also while processing and taking photos and doing all the stuff for not just listing, but all the stuff for the Boss Reseller Remix. And like I said, I've got 3 Zoom calls. We are doing we're going on the Consignment Chats channel with Theresa tomorrow. And I'm doing, that's one of them. And then I'm doing a podcast interview with our buddy Matt, who lives here in Las Vegas, who is also a reseller and has started a new podcast. And he's coming over to record tomorrow night for that. So we got a lot of stuff to do.
I would say you not to poo-poo you, but you're saying you want to do 20 of your drafts and 10 a day of your stuff you photographed yourself. So that should be a total of
210.
Okay. All right.
So I'm saying 200.
All right. You guys heard it here. Who do we have? Okay, Mary says that she's going to have 25 pairs of sunglasses up tonight.
Okay.
Very good goal.
How many people do we have in the chat that have already purchased their tickets for the Boss Reseller Remix, or are wanting to purchase their tickets? And I know that there are people that are trying to save to purchase a ticket. How many people do we have in the chat that is your situation? I know that there are several people that have purchased tickets. Tickets have been on sale since the 1st, by the way. We've had quite a large number of people purchase tickets. Just so you know, the ticket prices are the same as last year through the end of July. So $345, but on August 1st, they are going to increase to $395. So if this is something you're wanting to attend, it probably will sell out, but it won't sell out right away. And it's not going to sell out in the next few weeks. A lot of people tend to purchase in the last period of time right before the event. But just so you guys know, even if you just put aside $50 a week, or maybe you're putting aside $100 a week between now and then, you'll help pay for your hotel and all that kind of stuff. So you can book a hotel without paying for it up front, and then you can cancel at any point. So, you probably should, if that's something you want to do, if that's your goal, then work that into your week. Work that into your week, and maybe it's $10 a day you siphon off, and nobody misses $10 a day necessarily, but being a big chunk for a ticket to attend a conference or for a hotel room or for airfare or anything like that, that ends up looking like a big chunk all at once. But if you siphon off $10 a day from your sales and kind of like put it aside,
well, especially if you guys are going to join us on this new journey. Of like being really mindful and intentional with your week, and maybe up your goals a little bit and up your output a little bit. Hopefully you're going to see some increases in those sales, so it won't be so painful to set aside a little bit. Now, with all that said, you also need to be mindful of your own time and burnout, and making sure that you are being careful about, okay, you don't necessarily want to jump in and be like, now I'm going to do 500 million things. I'm not going to breathe. Setting your weekly goals, that can include making sure that you're stopping working at a certain time each day, or taking a certain number of breaks, or taking a day off. You do want to make sure that you're thinking about that. I know.
Yeah, don't burn yourself out. We've worked into that.
Yeah.
Making sure that we take Saturdays off usually, making sure we're done by work by 6:30 every single day. These are things you need to do to take care of yourself. But if you are looking to learn more and to level up your business, I know the remix is something that we put on, so it's very close to our hearts. But attending reseller events in general, whether it's your local meetup or whatever you're able to attend, is so worth it for the peace of mind and the inspiration and the networking that you receive. Not just the knowledge, because you're going to get that. There's going to be knowledge, and you're going to pick up something new from every type of thing that you attend like that. But learning from other people, talking to other sellers, having other people to commiserate with, having other people to brainstorm with, all of that kind of stuff is something that really happens in person. It really happens in the conversations that you have before, after, at lunch, hanging out at the bar at night, whatever. And that's the kind of stuff that really you can't put a price tag on that. And, even just hiring help, hiring someone to work with you or work for you. I did that because of Trish. And a conversation that we had with Trish, and I've learned so much from other, coworkers, as we call you guys. And that's definitely how I operate. And I learn something every time. The remix is not just me. It's not just us talking. First of all, we don't even talk.
No.
For those of you that have been, you will know that Katy, Theresa, and I don't even talk. We don't give sessions. We help create the content for the event itself. The very first time I've ever spoken was at the Perfect Boot Camp.
Yeah.
Last week. I've never spoken about reselling outside of this channel.
Yeah, me too. As far as reselling goes, because we don't do a session ourselves because we feel like we got other stuff we got to focus on. But yeah, I mean, this community brings so much richness to our lives beyond just stuff like this, where we're like kind of working together to hold each other accountable. It's like, our very best friends, the people we spend the most time with. We were out last night with Angel and Crystal, went to a show, had dinner, and 4th of July we had our friends over, and it's just I couldn't imagine our lives now without the people that we've met through the community and through reselling. And it really does matter,
including each other.
And we've gone through things like sickness and weddings and babies and deaths and everything that you go through in life. We've done that with our reseller friends, and it's been a huge part to our lives. And so anyway, I think we're actually going to be able to make this an hour-long show every Sunday. So we apologize to those people who do like to hang out for longer, but we hope we can make up for it with our pre-recorded videos. And hopefully, give us some feedback in the comments down below. We hope that this is going to be something that you guys are going to find beneficial, and you're going to like these changes that we've made. Don't forget, for those of you who have stated your goals in the comments, of course, we haven't been able to read the whole chat the whole time, so we didn't necessarily see everything that you said, but maybe for yourselves, write it down, whatever it was that you said or didn't say. And next week we'll check back in and we can see how everybody did. And you guys can see how we did, if we failed or not, if Vicki has to yell at me or I have to yell at her, because we're only going to do this through negative reinforcement. It's the best way.
Negative reinforcement?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're not a parent. Jeez.
No encouragement.
I am reading in the chat, and I did want to say, Noelle, I know that you would come if you could. We certainly miss you. I know that Noelle is taking care of her grandson, and he's a little dude, and she's like taking care of him by herself. So I get that you can't really travel right now with the little guy. But anyway, I would love to see a lot of our friends. I know many of you in the chat we have seen and will see again. And I'm looking forward to meeting people that we have not met before. We've had a lot of people purchase tickets this year that I do not recognize the names at all, which means they could have come from any facet. They could be people that are watching our channel that we don't know. There's plenty of people that do not comment, or could have come because they know of other sellers that are speakers.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty cool.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. It's 3 o'clock. We did it. You want a high five? Woo!
So lame. So lame.
So cool, man. Whatever. My baby t-shirt this week. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Keep an eye out for our haul videos, our sourcing haul videos this week. I promise you I will do 2 of them. Okay? Sound good?
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.